we are looking at raising girls. I was so excited when I saw the title of the discussion today. I was really excited because I have girls. On the side, we were just chatting with the presenter, and this is so true that children are not only those that we have birthed, but we have children in our homes that we are keeping, and not only in our homes, in our communities. They say it takes the whole village to raise a child. And so we are so happy to have you here, knowing that we have one goal, and that is to raise children that will represent us well, and much more, and mostly will represent God. Yeah, so tell a friend in case you have a friend like mine who has only boys. I was telling my friend to say the topic is raising girls, but you know, even if you have boys, those boys will get married. They will marry girls. So they'll be your children. So you should know how to handle those girls as well. So let's invite our friends, and let's stick here so that we finish. So in the next 30 minutes or so, we are going to have our presenter, Mrs. Chue, who is going to lead us in the presentation. Thereafter, we'll have 15 minutes for interactions, where we are going to maybe make a comment on the presentation or a question in case you have one. So today's presenter is Mrs. Chube, a mother of girls, and one of our mentors on the Every Child is Special platform. She is not new here. She's one of us. Mrs. Chube, we are so glad to have you on the platform, and we are excited and ready to listen to the presentation that you have prepared for us. We ask that you take up this space now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Diana. I'm also humbled to be able to share whatever I can on this platform today. Greetings to you all, brothers and sisters, mummies and daddies, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for turning up to listen to this presentation this evening. Our subject today says, bringing up girls. Bringing up girls. This presentation is meant for everyone out there who, just like me, takes their job of parenting seriously. Our world needs more parents who take this job seriously and give it all the attention it rightfully deserves, so that when all has been said and done, more girls will be able to realize their full potential as intended by God. Our planet is in dire need of what females have to offer. In my training as a community development practitioner, it is evident that if every female was contributing towards the development agenda in their community, our world would be a better place. Today's discussion is meant to ensure that as many females as possible live their lives in a productive way and realize their full potential. I am not going to introduce any new concepts because we all know that there's nothing new under the sun. Our approach will be to help us understand why girls are the way they are. We will discuss from a layman's point of view.
Sister, is it possible you can turn on your video?
My video, okay. Okay. So as I was saying, what we are doing today is to help us understand why girls are the way they are. We will discuss from a layman's point of view how their brains develop, how hormones impact the development of the brain, and how the anatomy of the brain makes them who they are. We will then go on to discuss how all these processes affect the nature of girls, and finally, how we as parents can continue the good job we have been doing, but with more intentionality. Some of our efforts seem simple, but the impact on the lives of our girls is massive. Whenever there's a discussion on bringing up girls, we always hear a strong emphasis on the importance of their ability to manage a home. A discussion on this topic can never be complete without this emphasis. I agree that it is an important aspect of their lives, but allow me to introduce a twist to this narrative. How would it be if we began to put less emphasis on them mastering house duties in order for them to be a good wife and mother? What if we put more emphasis on them having exceptional culinary skills, for example, because God wants them to be the best version of themselves? What if, in our quest for their excellence, we introduce the aspect of God's purpose of their lives being realized in full? This is food for thought. The development of the machines like the MRI, the CT scan, which allow professionals to examine the human brain and observe how the brain reacts to different stimuli, has revealed interesting facts. It has been observed that the male and female brain light up differently when subjected to similar stimulation. The female brain, while in the womb, grows and experiences substantial development to the communicative and emotional centers, thereby allowing the two areas to be better networked neurologically. Then there is also a bundle of nerves that connects the two areas of the brain I just mentioned, the ones responsible for communication and emotions. They develop into what can be similar to an 8-lane superhighway. This enables the transfer of great quantities of emotional memories from one side of the brain to the other. This development results in girls being very expressive and emotional from a tender age. They feel things more deeply. They are able to respond to subtle cues in their environment, also known as intuition. They are generally good at reading characters and motives in others, though they usually cannot explain how they do it. As a result of all this, they cry more often. Between 6 and 30 months of age, the ovaries of girls produce huge amounts of the hormone called estrogen. This hormone, which is called the intimacy hormone, washes over the female brain. It then stimulates the circuits that create an urgent desire for bonding, nurturing, and communication. This is the process responsible for girls having attributes of being a friend, a talker, a feeler, a lover, and sometimes even a conniver. Girls like to stare at faces for signs of emotional expression. They can hear human vocal tones and can distinguish a happy one from an unhappy one, including the slightest tightening of the voice, especially the mother's voice, which they are very accustomed to. The slightly older girls can tell if they're allowed to touch something or if it is forbidden, just by the tone in the voice giving instructions. The nature of girls, whereby they crave connection, approval, and nurture, is what makes them creatures who deeply value social harmony. They would rather avoid conflict because it does not align with their urge to stay connected and make social bonds via communication. Of course, to every rule, there's an exception. And indeed, there are some females who have less appreciation for social harmony. So now we have looked at how the hormones affect the brain of girls. We started by looking at the neurobiology, the makeup of the brain. We've looked at the hormonal one. And now let's look at the biological anatomy. There is about 15% more blood flowing in female brains than in the male brain, and it is more likely to surge to both sides of the brain. This explains why girls listen and concentrate with both sides of the brain. They listen and feel at the same time. They also spend more time to process ideas before making a decision or taking any action. This is also why, when presented with a proposal for love or marriage, girls usually require more time before they can make a response, make an action. They require more time to process the whole idea. So, based on these facts and findings, what does it mean for us who are raising girls? When we look at how the brain is developed when the girl is growing up, when we look at how the hormones affect the brain as the child is developing, and when we look at just how the anatomy of the brain is, how should we, as people who are raising girls, what are the implications on how we raise our girls? I'll give 3 quick points. 1, girls thrive in an environment where they are able to express themselves. Let them be given a platform to express their thoughts and feelings. Of course, this should be done while observing good etiquette and complete respect for their elders and for those in authority. Number 2, the great value they attach to connection, nurture, and approval seeking are attributes that have more often than not made them vulnerable to abuse and exploitation. It is very important that even as we endeavor to uphold their soft and sensitive side, we should teach them to know how to identify and recognize when they are being exploited or unfairly treated. Number 3, and the last point in this category, the 8-lane superhighway in the brain that carries great quantities of emotional information makes girls very sensitive emotionally. Studies show that females are highly prone to depression and mental health issues. This can be rather strange, considering that girls are very expressive and talkative in nature. One would expect this attribute to help them cope with resilience, but it is evident that in the absence of a good appreciation for their emotional sensitivity, even the most resilient are affected. So the interaction of physiology, neurotransmitters, hormones, receptor sites, and emotions working together in perfect harmony is indeed a marvel of intelligent design that reveals the handiwork of God, our Creator. Now, in closing, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to give a few points directed at mothers and also directed at fathers. I'm going to start with fathers. Because these now are a bit specific to the role that they play in the lives of the children, in the lives of their daughters. So fathers, I'm just going to give 3 brief points. Number 1, please ensure that you affirm your daughters. This will help them feel secure and loved. It is also important to affirm their femininity respectfully, of course, so that they know just how proud you are of them. We live in a society where daughters are considered primarily as a source of wealth in the form of cattle when they get married. This, whether a parent says it or not, will be said by other family members. But your voice as their father must unequivocally transcend this common narrative. They must hear you say it, rather than you concluding that just because they didn't hear you say it, they will assume you believe otherwise. So fathers, it's important for you to verbalize it. Say it to your daughters. Don't make them assume, because they will not assume. They want to hear you say it. Number 2, we also are surrounded by the narrative that girls are less in value than boys. For this reason, they have to hear you actually speak against this narrative, provided you believe so. The third and last point, please take time to show interest in their hobbies and future aspirations, also finding out the reasons why they make those choices. This is best done before you give any advice. So fathers, you are the most significant man in your daughter's life. There is nothing in this world that can ever replace paternal affirmation and affection. Now to my mothers, my fellow mothers. Mothers, being in touch with your daughters emotionally should be a priority. Extensive studies on the importance and benefits of this relationship have produced a theory known as attachment theory. This theory applies to both sons and daughters, and it unlocks the many mysteries of parenting. So this last segment will cover both sons and daughters. The attachment between mother and child begins while the baby is still in the womb. It is so strong that the baby is born already familiar with the sound of their mother's voice, because they have been listening to their mother's voice from the time when they were inside the womb, and they have been comforted by that voice. With the passing of time, this attachment provides a secure atmosphere that allows them to explore their environment and also defines their style of relating with others in terms of knowing how to trust and how to interpret their feelings. Mothers, it is important that this attachment is not disrupted even after the child is born. As children grow, their needs definitely evolve, meaning they need their parents differently, but they never stop needing their parents. Their needs change from help with physical areas like bathing and eating to advanced ones like guidance, advice seeking, and support during times of decision making. The teen and adolescent years, which happen to be the most difficult period to navigate for both parents and children, have their focus on attachment. Healthy attachment with clear-cut boundaries that have been consistent from the earlier years. Adolescents and teenagers struggle with the tension between their connection with family and becoming independent. The good news, however, is that the foundation built in the early years is the groundwork for this phase of life. If the attachment is secure and established, both parties can navigate this phase with less struggles. Inasmuch as this attachment suggests the expression of love, it must be coupled with clear and consistent discipline. As parents, we fail to discipline children for fear of them becoming rebellious. That is what can make them rebellious. Did we know that? Firm discipline is needed from birth onwards, and it is actually cruel to deprive them of it. Avoiding conflict by being permissive is called appeasement, and that never works in human affairs. The desire to be liked by our children, by giving up our duty to discipline them, reveals a subtle apprehension that they are likely to become rebellious when they become teenagers or adolescents. Mothers, let us take charge of them from babyhood. It is our God-given responsibility to shepherd our children gently, yet with a consistent firmness throughout their developmental years. Let us not deprive them of the wisdom, experience, and guidance of a mature adult. We can be friendly to them, okay? We can be friendly to them, but we need not be friends with them. There's a big difference there. That's the end of my presentation for today.
Oh, wow. Wow. Hey, I wanted to hear more and more, and I was not ready to just stop getting this information, because it's just giving me an understanding of my children more than I. It's like I didn't know my girls. Now I have known them even better. Thank you so very much, and I like the aspect of fathers, huh? This child, wow. And I'm very happy that at least is listening. You have a different, the way I'm feeling is how most of the parents, if we were to give them chance to just say something like I am saying now, Mrs. Ncube, you are going to really understand that we have appreciated your precise, short, and straight to the point presentation. Well done, well done, well done, well done. Thank you so much, parents. We have enough time today to interact with the presenter. Please, you are free now to highlight on one of the comments that the presenter might have said. If you want to highlight on a comment, please do so. If you have a question, please do so. This is the time, please. I may not see your hand, but kindly just speak and we'll get you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, just to appreciate the lesson indeed. As a parent, I have benefited greatly from the lesson, and indeed quite precise to the points that have been raised. So, like Dan has indicated, I was also thinking that you would continue to teach, because we were enjoying the lesson but we ended. So the last part that was mentioned was that of is it friendship and being friendly? And you said there's a difference on the two. Maybe it would be interesting to just get that difference of the two. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Chula Kapande, for that insightful and encouraging words, and for that question. So, Sis, kindly respond to that question, the difference between friendship and being friendly. Friends and being friendly, if I got it, and I'm sure you got it maybe more clear than myself.
Yes, thank you so much for that question. Yes, indeed, there's a difference in the way, in the approach that would take. If we want to be friendly, we'll talk to them in a friendly manner, even when correcting them. If we want to be friends, we will take them as friends and cross the boundaries of the parent-child relationship, whereby we can't even correct them anymore, because that boundary is not there anymore. I apologize for the background noise. I'm a mother. So when you are, I want to give a practical example. If my daughter comes home late, way past her curfew, I can be friendly by telling her firmly, but using firmly, but without using cruel words. Okay, I can choose my words carefully, whereby they're not cruel, but they are firm, and I tell her that this is unacceptable. You've gone past your curfew time of arriving home. Can this be the last time? But if she comes home way past her curfew, and I have decided to become friends with my daughter, I won't even be able to address the issue, because I'm going to, I have already given away my role. I've surrendered my role as a parent. She's my friend, and now I'll look at her and say, oh, okay, I'm going to normalize even what is normally unacceptable. So I hope I'm making sense. I hope it's a bit more clearer with those examples that I've given.
Yes, sure. And I'm sure he has also got it. I had a challenge as well to understand the difference, but from the perspective you've taken and the way you have explained it, I'm sure it's very, very much clear. Our friends are for keeping secrets, huh? And for all those naughty things that we do with friends. But when it comes to a parent, you are friendly, yes, but they must be those boundaries. They must be that difference where a child now must be able to get it, that this is wrong and it's not right for me to do this. Mommy, daddy doesn't like this, and mommy, daddy, including God, are not happy with what I have done. Thank you so much for that. I have really understood it. Let me hear from Elder Chola Kapande. Kindly tell us if you have gotten the answer. Or Kate wants to come in as well before Elder Kapande comes in. Katie?
Sister Kapande, maybe I can just add a voice to the difference between being friendly and being friends. So the idea to be friendly with your children but not friends with them is about understanding your role as a parent. And it doesn't mean that you have to be distant. There has to be that close relationship with you where they are free to approach you and tell you, confide in you about what they are going through. So you have to be approachable and you don't have to be harsh. That is being friendly. It means you have to balance warmth. You have to be warm. That's being friendly, but you don't lose your authority over them. Okay? So being friendly, basically, as our mentor was trying to explain, being friendly means creating a safe space for conversation with your children, listening without judgment, laughing and playing and enjoying each other's company, showing affection and emotional support, and also knowing their interests, their friends, what they like and what they don't like, and what they are struggling with. On the other hand, being friends with them is based on equality. You are friends with your peers, not your children. When you become friends with your children, you lose that authority, and there are certain boundaries that you cross. So when you become too friendly with your children, it's as though you share equal authority. They can even challenge you on certain things that are not acceptable, like the curfew that was the curfew example that was given. And if you are over friendly, if you are friends with your children, it will be hard for you to correct them, and it will be hard for you to enforce certain rules and consequences, because you've crossed that boundary of being a parent. You are now a peer. That is the mode that you're trying to operate on. So parenting is not a peer relationship. That is a friend to friend relationship. But you have to maintain that authority where you give guidance, where you ensure that the parent-child boundaries are maintained and correction should be given when it is due. And you, most importantly, you maintain that parent relationship so that you protect your child and you lead them on the right path. I think that's the voice I can add. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciated for that contribution. Shula Kapande, has that been taken care of fully?
Yes, yes, yes.
Maybe
Thanks so
before
much.
the elder, maybe before the elder answers, let me contribute also to add on what Mrs. Ncube and Mrs. Mwewa has just said. I don't know if my network is okay.
It's bumpy, but it's okay. We are getting you at least.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm trying to mute this one. All right. Maybe I can. All right. Thank you very much. I'm sure now I'm loud and clear.
Yes, you are.
Just to add on a biblical perspective, God gives us, or God relates to us with love and closeness, yet He still remains our Father, not just our friend. Of course, we relate to Him as a friend. We have that song, "What a Friend We Have in Jesus." But His fatherly figure does not cross the limit of us being a friend with Him. For example, here is a father or a parent who is a friend to a child. And like what Mrs. Mwewa said, a friend or a friend parent, do whatever, you tell the child to do whatever you can do. I am happy with it because you are my friend. Yeah, a parent says, do whatever you can make, do whatever you can do whatever you can. I am your friend. I'll just look at you as my close friend. But a friendly parent says, I love you too much to let you choose whatever will harm you or whatever you wish you can do. And that's what God does to us. He is a friendly father. He will never allow us to do anything that will harm us. But if you can take a picture of a friend who is a parent, you will just say, all right, as long as it pleases you, do it. I have no problem with it. That is my contribution, aligning it to the scripture. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Parents, do we have any contributions or questions?
Yes, if I can be allowed to.
Yes, Lupupa, you can come in.
Okay, thank you so much. I've really benefited from this wonderful topic about raising girls, and I just want to thank our moderator and the ones that the questions that have come through. We are following and learning so much. I just wanted some clarification or maybe some strategies, because when we were being taught, there was one significant thing that I picked when we were told that they've got a tendency, the girls at these ages that they reach, sometimes maybe between even 7 to maybe somewhere around 12, 13. They've got this ideology that the world they live in is very nice. They want to be very good, and there's this gullible kind of approach to life where they have not yet experienced any negative things from the world that they are living in. And how do we come in as parents to just try experientially to help them to understand that they can be taken advantage of, and that vulnerability that she spoke about, how do we navigate that into explaining to them, so that even if they haven't experienced it, but they understand the dangers of being this nice and trying to be this good to everyone. Yes, I think I can be helped in that area. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Thank you.
My name is Sipiwe Jere, and I have two girls. My older one is 17, and my little one just turned 13, maybe 2 days ago. Lupopa, in answer to your question, and I think this is every parent's fear. Every parent who has a female child, is one of our biggest fears is our children being taken advantage of. A big part of looking out for our girls is communication. You have to be able to communicate with your child from when they're very young. I'll give myself as an example. I was raised by a baby boomer, and this is a totally different generation from ours. Our parents didn't communicate with us. And just for illustration purposes, I'm in my late 40s. So meaning I'm talking about a parent who's in their 70s at the moment, mid 70s going towards their late 70s. And anyone who's been raised by that generation knows that our parents weren't very big on communication. Now, what I've found is that I have to be able to communicate very clearly with my children in a bid to protect them. One of the things that I've really, really cultivated is being able to speak to them very openly. I'm sure you will all agree with me when I say that our children come from a totally different generation than ours. These guys are more exposed. They have information at their fingertips. They know more than we did at their ages. So if you're sitting in a corner somewhere and waiting and saying, no, I'll speak to them. Maybe right now is not a good time. That in itself, I think, is an error. Of course, they're age appropriate things, or you can communicate in an age appropriate and sensitive manner. But most important thing is that you have to be able to communicate with your children. And like I said, having been raised by someone from the previous generation, I know exactly what changes I need to make. It's like the saying, be the change that you want to see. Because I have a very good overview of the kind of relationship that I have with my mother. And because of that, I know what changes I need to make to ensure that my relationship with my children is much better than the kind of relationship that I share with my mother. That's with regards to Lupupa's comment. But I would also just like to add that when we're out in the corporate world, we look for mentors. We look for people that we can look up to regarding our careers, or how do I, make this better? How do I progress in this area in my career? For me, what I tried to do, or what I did, was to find a parent that I could learn from. And that parent is actually Chitimba Ncube. I moved to Nairobi when my 17-year-old was just 8 months old. And I've known Mrs. Ncube since I was probably 5 or 6 years old. And that's it's almost my entire life. So I spent time with her, and I realized that she was someone that I could really learn from, because her children were older than mine, my daughter at the time, and I only had the one. So over the years, she's someone that I go to for advice. If I find that something is difficult, or maybe I feel like I'm not getting a very clear picture of what's going on with one of my kids, I speak to her. So if you can find a mentor in the corporate world to try and better your career, that should be the same for your children. Your children are so much more important than anything else. Find a couple, find parents that you can speak to who have older children, because intelligence is being able to learn from those who have gone before us. We all don't have to experience the pain to learn the lesson. So let's learn from the people who've gone before us. Let's ask questions. We all know how we want to raise our children. We all know who we want our kids to, to emulate and be like. Find that couple, have conversations with them, spend time with them. And I think for me, that has really, really helped. It's helped me navigate my parenting. My children are not perfect. I tell people this all the time. I don't think there's a child out there who's perfect. But quite honestly speaking, I haven't had a lot of drama with my kids, because I've had someone to ask, someone to bounce ideas off. When things get difficult, I look for Mrs. Ncube and I tell her, okay, look, I'm experiencing this with one of the girls. What do you think it could be? How do you think I can help her? She gives me her opinion. I mull it over, probably pray about it, and then I pick it up from there. But cornerstone of any and every relationship is communication. We have to be able to communicate openly with our children. It's the key to very many things. That and prayer. That's my humble contribution. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you so much, Spiwe, for that insightful contribution. We appreciate that. Any more contributions, parents? If we have any more contributions, kindly come through. We are remaining with few minutes before we
I
close.
have a question.
Yes, please
I have
come through.
a question. Yeah, even before I ask, I just also want to say it was a timely presentation. And I want to thank also the sister who has just spoken, where she has talked about looking up to someone. That is a very good example, except there are some young people who are not ready to do that. Long time ago, it was easier, and it was believed that a child is for the community, not for the couple. but things have changed. And this has attributed to many of the ills that we are going through. Away from that, my question, my presenter and mentor is, in case there is a single mother amongst us or in the community, we talked about a father figure who needs to admire, to compliment this girl. What happens to the single mother who is raising girls without a father? What can they do? Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Dorothy, for that question. Presenter, you may come through, please.
Maybe before the presenter comes in, we have other mentors here. Let the presenter be the last one to contribute. Maybe we have other parents who could attend to the question which has been asked by my mentor, Mrs. Caputo. Please, parents, before the presenter comes through, Elder Kapande, you can come in and contribute as well. Then the presenter will be the last one. Thank you.
So maybe I can say something because I myself am I've recently become a single parent after having been married for 16 years. I split from my husband about 2.5 years ago, and I moved back home from Nairobi. And one of the things that I'll say that has really, really helped my girls has been for us to be able to keep our differences very separate. We've separated our differences from the children. And I think that's a very big part of adulting. Yes, the marriage has failed to work, but they are kids. They don't cease to be anyone's, they don't cease to be my children. They don't cease to be his children. So we've tried as much as possible to separate our differences from the children. And one of the things that we've agreed on is that our kids are a priority and we must continue to push them forward. Just a few weeks ago, I gave a piece of advice from someone who was much younger than me, and she's going through a divorce as well. I told her, look, this is not the best possible situation. No one wants this. But they were having a wrangle on custody, and everyone wanted to keep the children. And one of the things I say to her is that for me, the other parent is, no matter how bad the split is, the other parent is the only person who's ever going to love those children as much as I do, because they're part of him. So keeping our differences separate from the children has really, really helped. We've been able to support the kids and to ensure that what they need and what they want comes before my needs or his needs. And it has helped. And I know that not every situation is like that. People are not always able to end on, for a lack of a better term to use, a good note. But I mean, as much as you possibly can, if there's a single parent out there, try as much as possible to be civil with the other person, because that helps the children in the end. This is not what I wanted for my children, but my kids were here for like 4 weeks. My dad told me, I'm actually very shocked that the children are actually very happy and they seem very, very balanced. That's my humble contribution.
Thank you so much, Piwen. Not to harden the question, but what if in a case where a parent is a father figure is dead or something? Yeah. But I really appreciate your contribution so much, very much. Parents, we can come through and just contribute to an aspect of raising children when you are alone. What do we do for a father figure aspect?
Thank you so much.
Madam Moderator, sorry, I just wanted to appreciate Iwe.
Yes, Papa, come through.
No, mine is just to appreciate the testimony that I've heard. It has really built me. Thank you so very much. I'm so appreciative even of the previous, response to what I requested or what I asked. I just want to appreciate. I'm taking notes. Thank you so much. God bless.
Madam Moderator, good evening.
Good evening, Sister Charity. Good to have you on the platform. Your contribution, please.
It's just a question that I have.
Madam
Sorry.
Moderator, you are not fair. Elder Kapande was on the floor.
Oh, okay. Can I come through?
Yes, sure, Sister Charity, you can come through.
Oh, okay. I hope I haven't cut Elder from the contribution he wanted to make.
At least he's with me, so I'll deal with him, don't worry.
Okay. Though I typed the question in the chat box, I just wanted to find out, though I joined a little bit late. So hearing from the previous speaker was saying you look for a mentor. So one thing that I've observed about looking for mentors is that my question, the one I'd asked was saying, what are some of the attributes that we need to look for in somebody who we are looking to up to as a mentor? Because there are times that you look for somebody to be a mentor to you so that they can help you to raise your children. And then when you have a challenge that you're going through, some people feel shy to actually open up because the person that they have actually looked up to as a mentor begins maybe to go about telling others to say, don't just look at them like that. The challenge they are having with their child is this and that. So what are some of the attributes that we need to look for in somebody who we look up to be a mentor in raising our children? That was my question. Thank you.
I think sis, moderator, can I please speak? Oh, okay.
Yes,
So I just wanted to, I just wanted to respond and say, if you heard what I said, one of the things I said was that I've known Mrs. Ncube since I was probably like 5 or 6 years old. I'm 47 in a few weeks, and I'm sure you'll agree with me. That's an entire lifetime. Her late young sister, was a very close friend of mine. We were raised together. So I grew up in their mother's home. Puncho grew up in my mother's home. And by virtue of that relationship with Puncho, when I moved, the Ngulwes are the only people I knew there, aside from the person that I was getting married to. So I've known her for a very long time. And because she was always a big sister to me, maybe just not as close before we lived together in that environment where we were both strangers to the environment, she's someone I knew quite well. So for me, a mentor should be someone who you can trust, someone who you know very, very well. Yes, it might happen that sometimes you confide in the wrong person. This has happened to all of us before. But for me, that doesn't change the fact that we continue to live and to also trust. You don't stop trusting because someone betrayed you. You're not dealing with the same person whenever you meet the next person. You can't say, oh, because that person did this, even this person will probably do that to me. I know people end up being very closed off because of that, but it has to be someone that you can trust. I mean, I'm talking about, this is almost 17, 18 years later. She practically married me off because when I was getting married, my parents traveled for the wedding and I couldn't be picked from my home. I had to be picked from a relative's home. So that's how far the level of trust goes. Even now, up to date, I still randomly call her and I tell her, okay, listen, big sis, this is what's happening with one of your girls. What do you think it could be? And she'll tell me what she thinks. And then I'll sit, evaluate the situation, think about it, and probably maybe even bounce the idea off their father and say, this is, I've done a bit of research. This is what I've found. And I think this is how we should navigate it, or this is how you should navigate it, because the children are with him. They're in school there. They didn't move with me. So it has to be someone that you trust, someone that you've known for quite a while. The same way, like I said, when we go out into the world, when we're talking about our careers, we look for people who we think can help grow our careers. Our children are much more important than that. Look for that person, find that person. And especially in the church setting, for me, I think it's a good pool of people, because I went to Central Church from like when I was 5 until my very late teens when I left. So these are all people that I know. They're still people that I speak to up to this day, people who taught me in Sabbath school. I still talk to them up to now. And when I introduce them to people, I say, this is my big brother, Elder Munalula, just as an example. So they're people who you've known over the years, people you can refer to. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Stewart, for that contribution. Okay, so parents, this is 1909. I'm sure we are just remaining with 2 minutes in case they are eating comments that one of us may want.
Moderator.
So
Madam
I'll just
Moderator.
allow. Yes, ma'am. I'll allow you.
The question
Yes,
that
yes.
I asked, I appreciate for the testimony. It is something that is very cardinal. My contribution, apart from the testimony that our sister gave, in case I am so happy that there are parents who can part on a good note. Being a professional teacher, I've seen the devastating effect of parents who divorce and children are the suffering grass, and they have been impacted even education-wise. To those who are not the issue of separation and divorce, please, you can find a father figure in form of uncles, in form of grandparents, as long as, like the mentor presenter said, please maintain the boundaries. This issue of saying, is your grandfather, he can touch your breast and that, no, as we know how far grandfather should go. So please, it is very important to get a father figure who is respectable in all areas of life, who will compliment this girl. What we are avoiding is for our girl to hear, I love you, you are looking beautiful, from a boyfriend. The girl will die. That's why you find them having, trying to be pregnant when they were taught how to be loved. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that good presentation. For everyone that has already contributed to this topic, I think I've learned a lot. And for me, this presentation has really answered a lot of questions or a lot of observations that I have in our community, or theories that go around in our community about raising girls or keeping girls. Yes, so you could hear people say, "Oh no, keeping girls is challenging, or it's has a lot of challenges as compared to keeping boys." And right now, I think from what the presenter said on how we like us, the female gender, the way we overanalyze things, we can be able to read emotions, be able to know from the voice. You can be able to know that so and so doesn't want you to eat that food or something. You see. So they easily analyze and use intuition, and you find that someone has become emotional or has become angered, you see, and it becomes a problem when it comes to having harmony in the house. So at least this has been a very good eye-opening, and also answering a lot of questions and putting 1 + 1 together. So I'm very grateful. I've learned a lot, and we hope to have these conversations more and more. Yeah, to get to understand a lot of things about ladies. Because I remember when Elder Kapande was giving his comments, he said that he was expecting more and more information to come through. I was also expecting for a lot of yes, the speaker highlighted a lot of good points, and we were expecting to have more and more coming. So, Mrs. Ncube, I think you should do us justice next time you come again and bring us. You continue with this topic and do a part 2 of this. Yeah, we will be really we really benefit from it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Loxan, for that insightful contribution. We appreciate your contribution. Parents, we have, I think, reached the time when we are to close. And I would love to ask our speaker for today to just give us the last remarks. Thank you.
But moderator, Elder Kapande wanted to say something. Me, I still want to hear that one.
If he has a question, he will write it in the chat box. We are also looking at time, Pastor. Tomorrow is Monday. Yeah. So Elder Kapande, if you have a contribution, we are looking at time. Kindly write it in the chat box so that through the last remarks, the speaker can handle that question or a contribution. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. In closing, what I can say is, after all has been said and done, our wish for our girls, our daughters, is for them to live life to their full potential, the potential that God placed in them, the purpose that God has placed on their lives. And so in everything that we do, we should not lose sight of that goal, so that at the end of the day, God and God alone will be glorified. We face so many struggles nowadays in raising our children, in keeping our families intact, but we should never give up. We should never give up. We should continue to trust God, and He will guide us in the right path. Thank you so much.
We are so grateful, Mrs. Ncube, for that wonderful presentation, so precise. Like everyone else has said, we were waiting for more and more because of how great the presentation has been. We want to thank you greatly, and we know that from your presentation, there are a lot of other topics that have emerged. So through the Every Child is Special Executive, we have taken note, and we will still come back to you and give you yet another presentation in connection with most of the things that have been discussed on this platform. We are grateful. May God richly bless you and bless your ministry, bless your girls and all the girls around you. And parents, we want to say thank you so much. Thank you for your contributions, your questions, because those questions really highlighted on a number of issues. We say thank you so much, even for inviting others for coming through. And we want to also invite you next week, same time at 18 hours, we'll have yet another wonderful presentation. Please don't miss. We love it on the Every Child is Special platform because we have a lot of mentors, and all of us just become mentors, and issues are blended so well together. So we want to say thank you so much, so much, so much, so much. Pastor, you can give your last remarks before Sister Ncube can pray for us. Pastor, any last remarks?
Thank you very much, Mrs. Kapande, for moderating. You had a busy day, but still you sacrifice to be present and moderate. We really appreciate it. May God bless you and bless your home and bless your works. Mrs. Ncube, thank you so very much for coming on time with your busy schedule. You spared your time to just come and speak to us as parents. May God richly bless you, bless your family. Moderator, thank you.
Thank you so much, Pastor. We now ask for Mrs. Ncube to just pray for us.